No
Thank you
worries.
for having me. Thank you for having me and giving me this opportunity to talk about the phishing emails. And a little bit about me. I'm a SOC analyst and public speaker. My main responsibilities include monitoring the SIEM systems to identify if it's a real incident or false positive. And as a public speaker, I'm trying my best to aware people about the phishing email and new cyber attacks. So let's get started. So if you got an alert from your SIEM system or any other system in your organization which you're using, and that, hey, this is the bad email, and as a security professional, it's your responsibility to analyze the phishing emails and analyze the phishing email to confirm if it's a fraud or not, and keeping the those malicious codes out of the inbox of your organization, and to recognize the patterns and the phishing campaigns from someone. If you find something good, you can use that in your organization to better detect and prevent and use that in the incident response procedure to better react to the incidents in the future, and to really confirm it is from the person it says it is from, and for your education, and you can use the information gathered from the analyzing stuff, and for the training of your coworkers, and just for the fun to really see what threat actors are up to. And so here are some of the best phishing lures which I've seen in past 2 years. As of the situation going on COVID-19, they're highly utilizing the COVID-19 lures and the Zoom lures to get into their systems. All they need is to just a little interaction with the humans, just to make the humans little interaction, and taking advantage of that to compromise your computer and your organization.
I'll make a comment here. If anyone has actually seen the COVID-19 emails, my wife has gotten several of them. You can post in the chat and let us know how accurate they were. And so some of the ones she got were very good. Like, if you didn't know, if you just click on a link and didn't actually dive into the email, you wouldn't realize it was phishing.
Yes, they're using lures, like they're selling the mask and hand sanitizer and taking the advantage of these situations. And in the past, they have already also used the big events like end of the Game of Thrones, and I've seen the content like, hey, I have the unaired episodes of Game of Thrones, and if you want to see, you can just click the link for preview. And these things sound funny, but they are really taking advantage of the people's emotion. And the cloud storage, people are going more virtual, and they like to use the service link, different services. They want to take advantage of that, and threat actors are taking advantage of using the cloud storage, like free discount on cloud storage and something lures like this. And according to the Proofpoint is a security vendor, and they have really good stuff in their blogs. And this is what I got from their blog, Brain Food. It is a kind of smart drug, which says to make the human more super genius, whoever will take it. And it sounds funny, but it was really, really effective, because people were not only clicking the links, they were also sharing this link with other people. So that was funny and very effective. And account validation and suspension, expiration emails from the Microsoft, which pretends to look like Microsoft or Google, but it's not really from their stuff. And so let's just start out with the investigation. To investigate, basically two things you got to investigate is message body itself and the headers, email headers. And before going into data, visual inspection is also important. So in message body, you got 4 primary things to investigate: message itself, URLs, and the file attachment, and the embedded images. Messages, if they are asking you to look at the weird pictures of yourself or creating some urgency, hey, your account will be suspended and your credit card is going to work, something like that. And URL, if URL is taking you to the different link, it looks like coming from the Google, but it's taking you some other site. And file attachment, if the file attachments are getting if you are getting the attachments of weird extensions like the executable files and .dll or scripting file .js. So that's also one of the example. Not to trust. You have the idea not to trust the attachment, not to trust the email, and embedded images. So I have example here. Later in the slide, I have example of embedded image also, and you really need to collect the red flags for your organization and to train the people in your organization. The red flags include unknown, if you don't know the sender, if you are in the CC list but you don't know the other people in the group email, or whom you don't know who you are replying to, and date if it's coming in the midnight, or irrelevant subject, and attachments I've already talked about, the weird executable or weird some unexpected file types, and hyperlinks, which is taking you to different sites, or misspelled hyperlinks, bad grammar, or content of really embarrassing pictures of yourself, and something like this. These things, we need visual inspection to collecting the red flags and for the awareness of the to train your coworkers. So this is the fake file attachment. This looks like an PDF file, but it is actually an image which is taking you to different URL, different website. And this is the row here. If you really see into details, this looks like legitimate, but it's not legitimate. It's coming from LinkedIn instead of LinkedIn. So these are sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
We have a question. So is there a way an end user can protect the devices from these kinds of attacks besides using McAfee or Norton?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Is there a way an end user can protect their devices from these kind of attacks besides McAfee or Norton?
I think Malwarebytes has a really good thing, which I use personally. It's a paid one, but they have really good stuff which will take out the if you accidentally click something and malware got into your PC. So Malwarebytes is a really good thing to identify.
So outside of like using like an antivirus or some type of endpoint solution, the only other way to prevent these type of attacks would be through training, like awareness.
Yes, user awareness. So as I said, the red flags, you need to collect the red flags for the user awareness. As of my knowledge, I know before they had a really good poster on red flags. They have like 20 plus red flags, which every user should know in your organization. So, and it's always handy to hover over the link before actually clicking the link, because one link can really can damage or destroy, and it can be really affecting your organization.
Can you post that that poster? You said it was a poster, right?
Yes.
Can you post that in the chat when you get a chance after this?
Yes, sure. I'll send later after
All right,
this.
thank you.
Yes, sir. So before going into to really understand the headers of the email, you need to know you have to understand the RFCs for an email. RFCs defines the way how email should be transmitted from the sender and receiver. It's a request for comments from the Internet Engineering Task Force. And there are many RFCs for an email, and you also look the obsolete ones. Obsolete ones, so like for example, if I have I researched on something and I have RFC 101, I'm saying that email should be sent this way, and tomorrow someone will come and they will have their own way. So obsolete one is the one that they will have those. So that will be the obsolete one. and use the most updated RFCs. So this is an example of SPF RFC, and there are different qualifiers like pass, fail, header, or sort fail. So if while analyzing the headers, you will have to really go into details. To get to the small details, you can use the different RFCs to really understand if it's legitimate or not. So going forward, email header. In the email header, there will be relevant stuff. There will be required fields like message ID, which is the unique identifier, of an email, and it will be created at the original email server. When I send email, it will create the message ID and the date from 2 IP addresses of the mail transfer agents, and SPF, GKIM, DMARC record, and optional information like X headers, and a lot of garbage which may be or may not be useful. Sometimes it's useful, sometimes it's just a garbage. If you're a Gmail user, you can go to open the Gmail and click on the 3 dots on the right and go to the show original, and you will get your email header. And if you're a Mac user, go to view, message, and row source to view your email header. For the Outlook users, go to File, Properties, and at the very end, you'll get the email internet headers. And you can you can select all and copy that in different tools, whatever. I personally use the Notepad++ for to analyze it in the different view. So the headers, think of headers like a password. You will get the stamps wherever you go. Same way, headers will get the entry wherever it goes. So if I get email from New York to California, and it will come through the different email servers, and each email server will add an entry, at the top of each other. At every stop, it will add an entry at every stop along the way by the email server it encounters, and the email that's originally called mail transfer agent. And there will be multiple received entries. Each received entry is a different entry for the email headers. And an email travels from the source of destination. Each entry, it adds at the top of the email body. You can use that to follow the email path, where it comes from New York to California, what path it took to come to me, but in the reverse order. So this is an example of different received fields. So if you want to track the original sender, where it started, when the sender sent the email, start from bottom to top. Bottom will be the original domain name and IP address, and you can use and this will be the next and next. So always start from bottom to top when you analyze the header. So when analyzing the email header, the first thing is to find the original sender. So if you get the X originating IP, that's the great thing to get into your header, but it's rarely it's optional, and most of the users don't have it. The public IP it is the public IP address of the original sender. So, but if you don't have it, you can use the received fields, public IP received fields that will have the public IP addresses and domain names of the original sender and intermediate MTAs. So you can start from bottom to top. Bottom one is the original sender, and if the email is pretending to come from services like Microsoft, Google, or LinkedIn, they have their public IP addresses on the Google. You can just Google their public IP addresses to see if it's there or not, and use the tools like NSLOOKUP to get the information about the domain name, who.net, VirusTotal, MX Toolbox, and many other. There are many tools available, many open source tools available to analyze the email header and the reputation of the domain name or IP addresses. And research for the details like how old is the domain name. The more younger it is, it will be more risky. And if the domain name is blacklisted or not. There will be a lot of information to search for. So this is an example of result from the MX toolbox. I searched for this IP address 85.250.54.25, and these are the different blacklist companies which are listed these IP addresses blacklist. So you get the idea that in the past someone had the issues, so you have the reason not to trust this IP address. And this is the result from whois lookup. It will say when it is created, expiration date, domain name, and the different server it is used, and if it's using the DNS security for the DNS or not. So there will be a lot of information on that. You can that will be helpful to get to know the domain name. And X headers. X headers are many mail servers. They add the many mail service providers. They add the X headers to track the report of the email metrics. It is if you are analyzing by yourself, sometimes it's okay. So we were talking about the SPF. SPF is a policy record. SPF is an policy which will tell you if the domain name is authorized for, and if this is the domain name authorized for has the IP address in their authorized list. SPF is actually a DNS text record, which will have a lot of bunch of information, like if the IP address is authorized for that domain name. And it helps you against the spoofing. There are different SPF qualifiers like negative all. It's the fail. It means hard fail. For example, when you look at the DNS text record, SPF DNS text record, if the IP address is not in the list, if IP address is not in the list, it will be hard fail. It will tell you to not trust that email. Message should be blocked. And the soft fail. Soft fail means the IP address is not authorized, but you can still get the email, but it will pass the value SPF fail, and it will mark it as SPF failure. And neutral also means if it's not authorized, it's not in the list, but you can still get the email. And with the positive all, it says with the positive all, it says even if it's not in the list, you can still get the email. It should never be used positive all. And here's the screenshot from the DIG domain information incorporated in the Kali Linux, and for the domain name future pipe, which will start from v equal to SPF1. It means the version SPF1, and it has the authorized IP addresses and the domain names for that. This domain name is allowed to have these IP addresses and these domain names. So, and the domain key identified mail, it uses in the DNS record, DNS text record, there will be a private key which a receiver will be used to calculate the hash of the email, and add it to digital signature. And the receiver, and they will use the public key and use the same algorithm to calculate the hash. And if there is a match, that means that's a legitimate email, and there is an integrity. That means that email is the integrity, and it protects the tampering of the content. And the DMARC, domain-based message authentication, reporting, and conformance. It is another authentication protocol. It's actually a combination and reporting mechanism for SPF and DKIM. Either one of SPF or DKIM should have the value pass. It should have to pass the DMARC, and it also will tell you the actions you can what actions to take for the email. For example, if it found the illegitimate email, it will take no action. Or SP value, it means it will quarantine the email. And if you want to open the URL and file attachments, always open it in the isolated environment and virtual boxes. You can also use the Amazon workspaces. They have a really good environment, safe environment to use. And you can use the Windows Sandbox also. You don't ever use it on your regular computer or phone, because that can lead to immediate exploitation or sending your IP addresses to the threat actors, or sending password hashes, maybe may install malwares or can exfiltrate the information. And if you want to capture all the changes, for example, when you click on the link, what changes it will do, it will just creating new file or it will execute a code. Use Kali Linux or sysinternal tools to monitor this stuff and to keep track of what changes it will make you to your system. And some of the malwares, they can recognize if it's a virtual environment or not. So you can use the different isolated forensic system to keep track of those. And you can use HTTP proxies to capture the web content. And for network monitoring, you can use the Nmap and Wireshark. So this is an example of the one of the compressed file. One of the compressed files which I got in the email, and it has a .lzh extension. And LZH is a compressed file format. Which you can decompress it using the Wireshark tool. And upon decompressing and calculating the checksum, these are the hash values which I got. And if you calculate if you verify the hash value, it came out the Trojan. VirusTotal is a really good tool to verify the IP addresses, domain names, or hash values. And this is the 51 engines detected that Trojan. So at the last, if you find anything suspicious, use the VirusTotal antivirus engine, report it to them, submit your malicious code to VirusTotal. You can use the Process Explorer with the VirusTotal option enabled, or to identify the phish if it's a valid phish or not. You can use the phish tank. There people are identify their emails. A bunch of people add their emails in that to identify if it's a valid phish or not. And write blogs, make people aware about and share your ideas. This is like, or you'll get the idea, and it's always good to educate the people. And report the phishing in the Gmail. But you can also report the phishing in the Gmail by clicking the three dots where you can open your header. And there's also an option for to report the phish. You can also report to anti-phishing working group using this email, phishingreport@uscert.gov. And that's all I had. And thank you so much for giving me an opportunity, and happy analyzing. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me, and you can ask me here. Thank you, Casey.
Thank you very much for that information. For those who are watching live chat, I actually posted FakeNet, which is another tool along with Wireshark and other proxy tools that will allow you to simulate a network connection and also PGAP files for you if you're wanting to play around with emails. So, what do you think is the most prevalent email phishing going on right now? I mean, type of attack over phishing.
The most used right now is the COVID-19 and the Zoom links also.
I haven't seen any Zoom links.
Yeah, but people are using the Zoom and WebEx links. So it's like they will hack someone's Zoom meeting, and they can look, I actually watched the video. I haven't gotten a chance to read it in detail, but I read a blog about it. Um, they will hack someone in the one of the participants in the Zoom group, and they can access the information which they are using.
Can you post the blog link that you're talking about in the chat?
Sure.
Ray was asking.
I'll post a poster and the blog also.
Cool. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for your presentation. And yeah, I'll see you around.
Thank you.
Thank you.